What's up, everybody? Okay, what a great turnout. Thank you so much, Jake. Appreciate it. Again, I was gone last week, so I was nervous it would be like me and Tatum or something. So appreciate y'all coming out. We are going to be talking about new construction. So a couple of different things. Um, Actually, first, updates. Sherpa Moving Company, thank you for coming out. I wanted to touch on, I'm going to try to start doing this at least once a month, maybe more often if I deem it necessary. But I wanted to go through what's called our Vision Traction Organizer. And I have to pull it up, so give me one sec. So this is something I do running a small business. It's really easy to just get caught up in the daily just stuff that's happening, and then you have these plans and these visions for your company, and then 6 months or 12 months goes by and it's like, oh man, I'm not doing any of the same stuff I meant to be doing or I thought I should be doing. And so there's stuff, it's called Traction is the name of the book, but it's a way to kind of stay on track with what your goals are, with what your business is trying to accomplish. Because if you're not careful, if you just kind of move 1 degree each day, 6 months later, you're not even pointing in the same direction as you want it to be when you first started. So this is something to kind of keep us honest to what we're doing and make sure we're actually accomplishing what we're setting out to accomplish. So, and I think it's important for you guys. You've hitched your wagon to Copper Creek, a little bit bigger. You've hitched your wagon to Copper Creek for better or for worse, and I want you guys to be happy about where you're at. How's that? Better, kind of? I'll read it. So a couple things we jumped into when we first, so again, it's about knowing who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and who you're serving, and then having goals and staying true to the goals that we're on. So first is the core values. Hopefully you've seen them printed on our wall. If not, they are: be fearless in everything you do, have a vision of the future, live in gratitude, have an abundance mindset, and have a servant's heart. Again, each one of these, if you, as the owner and as a leader of the company, I try to keep these in the forefront of what I'm doing, all the decisions that I make, all the opportunities that I pursue, the people we choose to work with. I try to put these in the forefront of the decision making as much as I can. I learned a long time ago, I used to think core values and mission statements were just like corporate mumbo jumbo. And when you're running a small business, it's important to start using those as filters for the decisions that you make. And it took me starting a business to really realize that. So core values, very important. Our core focus is building systems to leverage our people. And our niche is mid-range to top producers that want to build insulating income around their business. That's kind of what I'm helping people, trying to help people do through building teams, through building other sources of revenue, whether it be other prospecting sources or other sources outside of sales. Kind of go through our mission statement. I think is important too. This is something I kind of have to remind myself of. We are 100% commission brokerage that provides a shocking amount of value. We're driven by a clear vision, not just to succeed, but to redefine success in ways that enrich our agents' lives. Again, at previous brokerages I've been with, it's just been about like who can make more money, who makes the most money. We recognize you for making this amount of money or whatever it might be. And sometimes people want to get their real estate to invest a little bit. It's not about making money or to have a part-time job and go on vacation a couple times a year or whatever it might be. And so our core value is not just to make everyone make more money and drive Range Rovers and buy boats and whatever it might be, right? It's to figure out what you want to do with your life and how can real estate be the avenue for you. Because real estate can't be the why. It's almost never the why. Money's never the why, but real estate can be the avenue that gets you to whatever your why is. And so it's important to us. And then our 3-year picture. This is something I refer to quite often. We're 2 years into our 3-year goal. And our 3-year goal, don't hold me to this yet, it's a goal, all right? We want to have 3 offices. I'd like to have a Southside, an Edmond, and Oklahoma City presence with strong leaders in all 3 locations. That's the big thing. We have to have people growing an area. I don't just want to open up an office that no one goes to. I've seen too many brokerages do that. I've done that in the past. Don't want to do that anymore. But 3 locations, a north, a south, and a midtown, and have 200 agents. I'd like to have those agents broken up 50-50 between 100% agents and 80-20 agents and or team agents. And we're closing over 1,000 transactions a year. And then the last piece is we have 3 ancillary businesses or services that are one on pace to gross 100,000 annually, and 2 on pace to net 100,000 annually. So the idea with Copper Creek is we give agents all the money. You give all your money. We have very low caps, very low fees, very high commission splits, so that we can consolidate mid and high producing agents, and then we can, instead of trying to make money by taking money away from the agent's commission, we make money by monetizing the transaction. And so that's going to be us providing services to you and to your clients. Hopefully we do a good job being your brokerage, and you just want to keep buying all the services that we provide, like transaction coordinator, like marketing, like all those other stuff, because we can have all that in-house, and it helps you be a better agent, and it helps us pad the bottom line, and helps us not fee you as much, right? And that's the idea. So that's how everyone makes money, is by monetizing the transaction. So that's the goal of the brokerage. In the future, you'll see us continuing to roll out more services and more products for our agents. And the idea is this is money that the agents are already spending on marketing or TC or whatever it might be, and we want to try to reduce the cost of what they're spending, but also provide it in-house so that we can increase our revenue. So that's kind of long-term goal of the brokerage. But our short-term goal, 3 years, is 200 agents and 1,000 transactions. Those are the two metrics that I look at. We are currently, over the last 12 months, we've done, I wrote it down. I want to say, I don't want to lie to you, hold on. Oh man. Hold on, I'm coming. It's not there either. It was around 920 something. So our 3-year goal is 200 agents, 1,000 transactions. We're at 143 agents and around 900 transactions. So we're very much on pace. We've had a tremendous amount of growth in the last 6 or 8 months. It's been awesome. So the more we want to try to provide an awesome brokerage that everyone loves and tells everyone about. And that's what we're trying to build. So hopefully you guys love it. If not, let us know. Anonymously. Don't hurt my feelings. But that's the goal, guys. We're trying to provide service and a value to you. I know we're useless without our agents. And I try to never lose sight of that. Oh, this is my presenter window. Hold on.
Nice flag.
Thank you. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right. So.
You should offer training if you weren't fighting with technology, Brad.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, offer IT services too.
Next time. Oh no, this is right. I forgot. Next time I try to switch between windows in a training, tell me don't do it. Tatum, remind me, don't do it.
Get him another screen.
Get me 5 screen. Give me another TV. All right. So today we're going to talk about selling new construction. There's a ton of nuances to selling new construction. We're not going to go into every single one. We're going to talk about some of the main differences in how to prospect new construction. We're going to talk about how to capture new construction clients, the differences in the contracts, how to negotiate some of them, and then some of the contract to close differences, because they're just a little bit different. A lot of people don't realize if you haven't sold a new construction house, they have different contracts normally too, with different features of it. And I try to go through some of the main differences. So we're gonna go over new construction. So we're gonna talk about 2 things on the prospecting for new construction. Who sold a new construction home? Okay, about half. Who would like to? Everyone, right? Everyone should. Yeah, they're simple. They're super easy. Once you get them under contract, you should be able to forget about it and get to closing. You know, you have to chase them around for certain documents, but normally they're incredibly easier than negotiating repairs and stuff like that on an existing home normally. So prospecting new construction houses. When I was young in my career and in production a lot, I had a ton of success with new construction. I represented a couple of builders. I sat 2 open houses per week, normally Saturday and Sunday, only on new construction. Was very knowledgeable about all the new construction across the city. each little sub-market has its own little nuances to it, whether you're selling Mustang or Yukon or Edmond or Moore or Norman, whatever it might be. They're all gonna be a little bit different. Builders like to play in their own sandbox too. So you're gonna have different builders in Edmond than you're gonna have in Mustang. Some crossover, but in general, there's different construction, different styles, different everything across the entire market. And as you do them enough, you start to learn the differences. You start to learn the builders. You start to learn the price points. You start to learn the features, and all kinds of stuff. But you don't. I can't sit here and tell you those things. Even if I did, it'd go in one ear and out the other. This is stuff you only really pick up by sitting 20, 30, 50 open houses in a row, and you start to compile all of this information. Open house, like anything else, is all, or I'm sorry, working new construction and open house prospecting is like anything else. It is all about consistency. You cannot sit a new construction house once. Jeff's a perfect example. He sat a new construction the other day, got skunked. Actually, someone came through, but we couldn't get him in the door because the key was missing. And then no one else came through. And he knows that you can't judge an open house or a prospecting method based on one opportunity, one time. It's consistent. Even doing open houses and existing or anything else, you gotta sit in an open house for 6 months before you can tell me if they work or not. Too many people try to do one FSBO or one open house and say it's not for me. Have to have consistency. Otherwise, you're just not gonna be good. It's not reasonable for you to expect that I'm gonna be a good open house, new construction salesperson at an open house my first month of doing it. You're gonna be bad at it. They're gonna be less bad at it. They're gonna be okay at it. Then you're gonna be good. Then you're gonna be really good. And then you can do it in your sleep. But that takes time. So open house, I think they're easier because if you don't like this one, we can build you another one. And some builders take 90 days to build houses, which is wild to think about. And some builders take 7 months, 12 months, whatever it might be. But if you don't like this one, I might have another neighborhood down the road in the same school district that has one that's further along. Or I can do a custom with you, whatever it might be. There's more opportunities to sell new construction houses. So this is something, I was gonna try to zoom in on it, but I'm gonna screw it up. I'll just tell you what it is. When you're sending new construction house, again, typically with any open house, if they're coming into your house, you can pretty much assume what they're looking for, right? If I'm sitting a home in Yukon that's 100 or 250,000, 3-bed, 2-bath, 3-car garage, I can pretty much assume they're looking for something in the mid-2s. That's a 3-2, 3-car in the Yukon. Like I can build a pretty good criteria for that person and know what they're looking for. Same thing with new construction. If they come into new construction, they're probably decided on new construction. Now some people go buy existing, but for the most part, they've made up a decision mostly that they want to be in new construction. So be the new construction resource. And it's real easy to do because, you know, this is Mustang. I just grabbed Mustang. There's like 10 builders in Mustang. And there's like 15 communities. But when you narrow it down to ones that have more than like 2 properties available, there's like 8. There's not a lot. You can know all of it really quickly and easily if you know how to do the research on it. So I just went to Mustang School District because people buy houses for 2 reasons, because it's near where they work or it's in the school district. So I don't do city, I do school districts when I search. Small little tidbit. So I did Mustang School District. I did new construction as the house type or the construction type or whatever it's called, not existing. I did new construction. And I think it came up with like 80 properties. But I can take those 80 properties and chunk them up into like 8 groups that I have to know. I don't have to know every single property. They're all the same. You've walked in a new construction house, they're all the same. Some variations. But I just need to know the neighborhoods, the communities, and the builders. That's it. And then from that, and I only need to know a surface level to capture business. I need to know this much more than they know. That's it. To capture business, and then I can go get their information and show them other properties. So this is what whenever I go do a new construction open house, I print off every new construction in the area. And some of these are done, some of them aren't. But I like to talk to each sales pro. And again, once you do it once or twice, you've talked to them already. You have their phone numbers, you can text them. What's available? What rates do you have? Elmer and I were just talking. Lennar is pushing out 3.99 interest rates fixed, 30-year fixed now, which is crazy. If they bought a normal house, they're at 6.25. And builders, Tabor was doing 2.99 fixed, Lennar's doing 3.99 fixed. They'll give you 10 grand and do a 4.99 fixed. It's just like, it's incredible. They're giving money away in new construction. Depending on the neighborhood, they might give you a $30,000 discount too, like this one person. So Tons of opportunity if you know the people, can have the conversations. Because if I'm a buyer and I walk into an open house and you're telling me about certain builders giving $30,000 discounts and $399 rates, it's like, I don't know any of these builders or any of these sales pros, or I don't follow, the Tabor Instagram account, right? Like, I don't know these things. So you can be a huge resource for people. And you only have to do this research once, text people, and they'll give you all their updates, whatever's going on. You should have a DR Horton sales rep saved in your phone, a Tabor, a Lennar. You should have a sales rep from every major builder, even minor, the Timber Crafts and the Two Structures and the minor builders. You should have someone saved in your phone for all those things. And if you're doing new construction, text them. Hey, I'm going to be in Mustang. What do you have? What incentives are going? They want to sell those houses worse than you do, I promise. They'll give you all that information. And when you compile all that, write it down here. I like to print. This is just a agent single line. I've modified it. I put price per foot on it, and I put builder and community. I've modified it a little bit, but you can get this from the MLS. It's an agent single line, and then I draw all over it. And I make it look like this, so much data and information. I want the buyer to look at that and be like, damn, I want a copy of that. It has all the incentives. It has locations where they're at. It has price ranges. It has, I'll write down if the community has a splash pad or a park or walking trails or everything about every new construction community is written on this piece of paper. And it's messy and there's a lot and blah, blah, blah. But the idea is for them to look at it and think, oh my gosh, this person is the new construction resource in Mustang. If I want to buy, I got to get I got to get a copy of that piece of paper. And two, I got to work with Brett because he seems to know about every builder and every community in Mustang, right? Yeah.
My opinion too, I think this gives you phenomenal talking points for social media content. And
Yeah.
when people trying to think about what am I going to say, you can really reach people with
Mhm.
information like that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what builders are giving so much money away right now. The market slows a little bit. Yeah, end of the year, especially you get to the end of a quarter or the end of a year, people start giving stuff away. If a normal existing home seller or the existing market is feeling it, new construction's feeling it as well. Because a seller has one house to sell, and ours got 900 that they got to sell. So I'll give it away if we need to move units. So really easy to be the expert because you don't have to know. If I'm sitting in a house in a random existing home zip code, I have to know about every single house in there. I can just learn like 8 pieces of information and know about all 90 listings, at least surface level information to capture business, right? But this is where any piece of information you think, I highlight the high and the low house on there so I can know, the high one here in Canyon Ridge, we go from 360 all the way up to 450. So if I'm sitting in a house that's high 2s, you might be priced out of this neighborhood, so I can move them down to here. There's all this information so I can quickly have a conversation with the buyer that walks in. The more you can recall it from memory, the better. I think the better you look, the smarter you look, the easier it is to capture, build rapport. But you don't have to have it from memory. Do this for a couple of weeks and then you'll start to remember all of it. Consistently sit Mustang or Yukon or wherever, consistently sit it for a month in a row, you should have all the information. You'll know all the players, you'll know all the communities, drive through them, understand what's finished. If you're really good, write down what's finished, what's not, highlight this one's completed. Here, 12136 Southwest 36, it's done. You can get $10,000 off the price on this one. These other ones, they're not done yet. They're not going to give you anything. So knowing these things creates a ton of value. It creates, it builds rapport, and it creates, can't think of the word, makes you valuable in their eyes, right? So number one thing you can do in an open house to capture business is be of value. If you know nothing more than what Zillow can tell them, you are, delivery guys always park right there in the middle. If you know nothing more than Zillow, you are of no value to the buyer because they'd rather not talk with anyone and just look on Zillow. So be the resource that they can't get online. Does that make sense? And I think new construction, that's why I skewed so much new construction in the beginning when I was in production, because it was easier to prepare for. There's a ton of opportunity. You can just register a buyer before all this BBA stuff came along. Now people are a little harder. But you can just, if you met someone, just register it. And if they walk in later and buy it, a lot of times the builder will throw you on the contract. So a lot of opportunity in new construction. That's why I wanted to talk about it. And that's why I like to do so much of it. And it's really easy to learn. If you're new, you can learn a lot of it really, really fast. So prospecting, open house is a really easy way. There's so many open house opportunities in new construction. They're all over the place. Again, Lennar has one or two in every municipal across the city. We've got 200 listings or so right now. So if you want new construction, we can find one for you. Got do not disturb on. Someone's messing with me. Probably Charlie, he does that. So open house, huge opportunity. Social media, we've done this a little bit, not to the point, I tested this a little bit, had some success, didn't sell a house on it, but had some conversations, had some leads, and then just kind of stopped it because I was really just testing it more than trying to earn off of it. But through Lofty or through Facebook, the Meta Ads Center, you can run new construction ads. We did some on Google. We actually did make money. We sold one from running Google ads on an Edmond community. But if you go to Lofty, it does all this automatically for you. You just plug in a card, you go out here, plug in an address. Doesn't even have to be your address. It can be a Copper Creek listing, or it can be anyone's listing. You have to get permission from the listing agent. But if there's a super cool listing somewhere and you want to run an ad on it, call them and ask them, hey, can I advertise this on social media for you? They will say yes, get it in writing. And then this does all the crediting for you. It complies with all the MLS number and crediting the listing agent, and it complies with all that for you. So you just go out, find someone else's address, put it in there, and for, let's see, I was paying $9 per lead, $11, $5 per lead on this one. So you grab the right properties in the right area that are attractive property, good attractive price, you can get leads for $3 to $10 per lead. Now they're internet leads from Facebook, so they're gonna take a lot of follow-up and a lot of nurturing because they're normally really early in the process. That's just how Facebook leads go. But you can, if you want to focus on new construction, or if you want to focus on a certain area or zip code and you don't have any business in that area, this is how you can start to create business out of thin air from nothing, right? Do FSBOs in that area, sit open houses for other agents, for other brokerages in that area. That's how you build business in a certain area or in a certain price point, is to just go start generating activity in that area, in that price point, in that district, whatever it might be. Does anyone have much success or run much Facebook ads? Yeah, Sydney, what have you done? Just run them through CRM, or do you do them on the Meta app?
So I've always done my ads through Meta. One thing that if you're new to Facebook ads, just something to be aware of, if you go in there and really start to mess with like the demographics of what you're targeting, Facebook will flag it.
Yeah.
Discrimination. So just
Yeah.
be aware of that, but they won't charge you. So I mean, they're really inexpensive. You can set them to run as long as you want. Brett's right. It does take a lot of nurturing, a lot of follow up. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be somebody who's like, "Oh, I was just scrolling and wanted to see what this was about."
Yep.
So you'll have people yell at you because you didn't have the information on the listing and they had to enter their information.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
just cold calling.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
just be prepared for that. But I mean, they're inexpensive. They're way cheaper than buying leads through Realtor.com or Zillow. So it's worth it if you want to target something specific.
Yeah, or boost your own listing. Sometimes you can generate some activity for your own listing. But the reason I like using a software or a CRM is because, yeah, when you're running ads, Facebook and Meta and other social media has really tightened up how you can target people, especially in the real estate industry because of fair housing laws. So you can't say, I want someone in this age and this demographic and this whatever because of fair housing laws. So, and they almost always flag you initially. If you push something out for real estate, they're going to just reject it initially and make you resubmit it. They every single time. Even if you just say, I want someone 18 to 65, and it doesn't matter how wide you make it, they're going to almost always reject you immediately. Then you have to reapply and they'll review it and approve it.
Sometimes it's even on like geographical location. Like
Yeah.
if you're really trying to like pinpoint a certain area for the ad, like flag this fair housing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
just be aware of that. But
Any-
yeah, I mean, it works. I mean, you get people to pick up the phone and
Yeah.
be consistent.
Yeah,
So.
yep. And that's where if it's something where you're spending you can spend $100 a month, or $60 a month, $70 a month, whatever, and get 4, 5, 6 people to call. You do that across a couple of months, and now you've got a pipeline built. You put them in the CRM, you drip campaign them. Lofty tells you when they come back and revisit the site, so you can stay on top of them. It just has you're dropping people into your database is what you're doing. So, and you can do it relatively inexpensively. So for new construction, again, it doesn't have to be your listing in Lofty. That's what's cool, and you don't have to go through all the Meta approvals and everything because they do it for you. Bless you. And they get you. The ad will just pop up within a 24-hour period. And so this is kind of, I've run a handful in the past, and we've done, over 2,000 impressions, bunch of really high click-through rates. If you're getting over 4% click-through rates, pretty good on an ad. 10 leads, 20 leads, 9 leads. So they're coming through, and we didn't sell any on the Facebook, but we did sell one on the Google when we were testing it. So so it does work. It does get you people to call. You will have conversations, but you just got to follow up.
And if you do it through Meta, you can also run that same ad through Instagram as well. So if you have a
Yeah.
bigger Instagram following, you can also run it through basically anything connected through
Yeah,
Meta.
Meta. Yeah, yep. And we were doing Google ads and then retargeting on Facebook. So someone who clicked would get retargeted, and so there's a bunch of different things you can do and hit people a little further in the funnel sometimes. So opportunities here to inexpensively get names to call and people to call on houses to show. If that makes sense. Questions on any of the prospecting, open houses, ads, stuff like that? These are just two of the main ones that are easiest to go do right now. But again, number one is open house. Open house is fishing with dynamite. If you're a real estate agent and you're trying to get off the ground, or if you're not where your income wants to be, like, you got to be in an open house every single weekend. Unless you just got so much money you can't even count it, and it's just coming in so fast, and you don't have any time to spend it because it's just stacking to the ceiling. Then don't do an open house. But if it's not, do an open house. You do it for a month, 2 months in a row, and people are walking into you. They're coming to see you. You're an agent, right? They're coming to see you and talk about real estate. It's simple. You have to go do it. You're not gonna be good at first, but you have to be doing it. All right, negotiating new construction. Not a bunch on this slide, but we're gonna talk through it a little bit. So most people maybe know this. They don't. I'm gonna touch it. New construction traditionally does not negotiate price. They will give seller concessions, builder concessions. And the reason, and it's good for you to know this so you can explain this to your clients. Now, sometimes they do. Talk with the builder pro, talk with the builder, depending on the price point, they will. But traditionally, a builder who's building multiple units in a neighborhood will not negotiate price, because the way comps work and appraisals work is if I drop the price on this house, it hurts my price on this house. So if I give someone a $10,000 discount here, this house may not appraise, or they're gonna want this house to come down 10,000 too. So I don't cost myself 10,000, I cost myself 10,000 times 50 houses that I'm gonna buy or build, right? So traditionally, they just don't do it because their main thing is keeping comps up in neighborhoods. That's their main goal, because they're gonna be building in this neighborhood consistently. So what they would rather do is give you concessions. They have padding built into their budget to give you closing costs, to give you blinds, to give you fences, storm shelters, whatever it might be. The larger the price, the more concessions you can expect. But almost every single builder will pay for your closing costs, almost all your closing costs. Yeah, it is Charlie, I knew it. Almost every builder will pay for most or all of your closing costs. A lot of builders, if they don't build fences, they will give you discounted fences or give you vendors who build discounted fences. Blinds is a big one. Appliances can be a big one. So anything you might need to buy as a buyer after closing, a lot of times builders can get discounted prices on them, get work done for a little bit cheaper, and they can actually do that for you as a client. Again, large volume builders, large volume builders sometimes don't like to do that because any additional process creates a slowdown in the main process. So like Lenalt, Roush, Coleman, forever, even though a fence would cost $5,000, they would charge you $7,000 because I don't want to do it. Here's the number of the guy I'm going to use. He'll charge you less, and then you do it yourself. I'll credit you $7,000, but I don't want to do the fence. So talk to your builder pro, learn the builder, talk to whoever the builder or the contractor, whoever it is, figure out how they like to work. And then work it out. But I like to have conversations with my builders before I write offers, figure out what they're offering, what they like, what they don't like, what did they just do down the street, that kind of stuff, figure out what's going on. And then you can make an offer that's more acceptable to the builder. So when we're writing an offer, just like anything else, if you're about to write an offer, you should call the listing agent and talk to them about the offer before you just draw it up. Here's what we're thinking, here's our concern. What are you thinking? Have you received any offers? Tell me what's going on. The more data you have, the more you can influence a situation. The more information you know about the seller, the buyer, the market, everything, the more information you have and know, the more you can influence a situation. So call your builder first, talk to them. That's what I love about, again, sales pros at the Lennar, DR, Home Creations, Ideal, all those large, they're salespeople that make commission too. They want this home to sell as bad as you want to sell. They want a commission check as bad as you want a commission check. So talk to them. They'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you what you can offer. They'll tell you what they're giving away. They'll tell you that if you waited till next month, or if you hurry up this month, for the month's over, we're behind on quota and we're going to give away a fridge or whatever. They give this information out because they want to sell homes. So have these conversations, have these relationships. But no, when we're negotiating, let me call the builder, what I tell my clients, let me call the builder, let me figure out what we can get for this builder, and then we'll draw up an offer based on the conversation I have. And we can ask for more, but I want to have an expectation of what the builder's expecting.
I also want to add to
Yeah.
that too on the concessions, because I've kind of run into this a little bit on new construction lately, where they'll offer you the 2-1 buy down or the fixed rate, whatever,
Mhm.
through their preferred lender. Depending on who the bank is, like I know for example at Great Plains, like that any lender in their bank can do that promotion. So if you have somebody, like you see the preferred company is a company one of your lenders works for, but it's not your lender, call your lender, because 9 times out of 10, like your lender you know and trust
Can match. So yes, good point. I didn't even think about that. Most volume builders, I talk about volume builders in a minute, but when I say a volume builder, it's a large spec builder, right? We all know the name, the people, there's probably 10 that build over 500 houses a year. Maybe 8 to 10 that build about 500 houses a year. They almost all have preferred lenders that they either own part of or they get kickbacks from part of. And essentially, again, like the large ones, the DR, the Lennars, the large national ones, sometimes they don't offer you incentives unless you use their person. And where your lender can sometimes offer some credits, for a while there, Roush Coleman was offering $12,000 if you use their lender. If you don't, they're offering $2,500. So any buyer would probably say, sorry, man, thanks for the pre-approval letter, but I'm going to go get an extra $10,000. It's tough, puts lenders in a tough spot, puts realtors in a tough spot, puts buyers in a tough spot. But at the end of the day, they have the inventory, they have the units. If you don't like it, buy another house, unfortunately. I used to eat a lot of crap for that. Realtors would call me and chew me out. Lenders would call me and chew me out, still do. So, like I'm the freaking CEO of this national company. So beware of that before you write offers. Again, normally you know these things if you're having conversations with sales pros, but talk to your lender. Sometimes lenders can call and register a buyer just like realtors can, and sometimes they'll still honor the incentives. That's what I worked out something with the old division president because it got real bad for a while. And sometimes they'll work, because again, put yourself in the mind of a DR, Lennar, Home Creation, whatever. We're closing 50 to 100 homes a month. I'd rather talk to one lender about all 50 of my deals that are going through, not 50 lenders. So they want a machine that sells houses. They don't want to provide the best customer service, right? They want to be known for the company that is profitable and sells 80 houses a month, not for the one that sells 1 house a month and just has the best customer service, right? It's a spectrum, and they don't care as much about the customer service as they do about the volume. So know that when you're going in and talking with builders, most of them have their own lender. You can get pre-approved with them. Check their rates are going to be comparable, but you're probably going to get a bunch of extra incentives from the builder if you use their preferred lender. And if you're not, make sure the sales pro knows that, and make sure the sales pro explains that to the sales manager. And a lot of times, when the market's smoking hot and they don't have to give you incentives, they'll tell you to buzz off. When the market's slower, they'll be a lot more cooperative with agents. Same thing, again, for the longest time, Roush Coleman wouldn't do any changes. You wanted a different paint color? No. You wanted to put a stand-up shower instead of a tub? No. You want to do this? No. You want to put a fan in? No. Do it after. Now, houses are sitting longer. And they're thinking, what do I got to do to sell this, to get you in this house today, So it's all about the market. And the more you know about the market, the more information you have about the sellers and the buyers, the more you can influence a situation. Questions on, good comment on lenders, thank you. All right, some contract differences. A couple of the main ones. me read through these again. So we're going to talk about the OREC contract. The couple of main differences. One is inspections. So in the normal OREC residential existing home sale contract, you can do an inspection and you can submit a cancellation. I inspected it and I don't want the house anymore, and they give you your earnest money back. The new construction doesn't give you a cancellation option. You have to give the builder an option to fix these things. So buyer and seller, and then you have 3 days to negotiate the things you want fixed. So most times it's punch list stuff. Most times it's stuff that didn't get done or didn't get checked or didn't get buttoned up. So normally it's like, just fix these things, and it's a new construction home, so they send a guy out to fix them normally. But the first and obvious thing is you can't just say, I inspect it and I want out. You can inspect it and say, here are the things I want done, but you can't just back out of a new construction home. You have to give them 3 days. You have to negotiate the things you want done. Second piece is the status of construction or status of improvements. So you might buy a home that's not built yet, or you might buy a home that's halfway built. And so you need to check one of these boxes. One is the home is completed at the time, and the second option is the home is under construction. And within 5 days of the time reference date, they have to give you a finalized, all the specs, the finishes, the floor plan. They have to give you the whole packet of what the house is going to look like for you to review. And then you have your inspection period to review the specs and all the information they gave you. And if that's not satisfactory to you, again, you can tell them what to change, and you have 3 days to negotiate the changes you don't want. But normally you have those before you go under contract. Normally you've seen the finished product somewhere else, or you've seen the floor plans, or you've had 5 meetings with the builder already and you know what's going on. But they have to provide you with the finished specs during the inspection period. Let's see, wait. Yeah, you have 5 days to review the plans, and if you don't object to it within 24 hours of the expiration of the time period, then it's kind of like missing a TRR. You just agree to accept it. You don't have to sign anything to accept it. Within 24 hours, if you don't cancel after receiving and reviewing them, you agree to move on. Stop me if we have questions. The next piece is the punch list paragraph. So again, so you have after the inspection period, the buyer will provide a list of uncompleted work or unacceptable cosmetic or decorative items, or a punch list at least 5 days prior to closing. So a lot of times this will be called a blue tape walkthrough, or a final walkthrough, or a punch list walkthrough, something like that. But essentially what you're doing is you're walking to the home, because it's a construction site. They paint the home a month before the home's completed. So other people are coming in and doing stuff. Plumbers are doing finals, electricians are doing finals, they're doing cleans, whatever. You're gonna have a brand new painted wall that has a chip in it. You're gonna have a piece of wall that they missed with the roller. You're gonna have a piece of flooring that's got a little color missed off it. You're gonna have cabinets that don't line up properly, right? You're gonna have a ton of different stuff because it's a new construction home, they just built it. So that's why you have a 5 days prior to closing, you have to provide your builder with a punch list item. And normally what we do is go through with a piece of blue painter's tape, or a roll of blue painter's tape, and you just go around putting a blue piece of tape on anything you want touched up. And normally it's 90% paint touch-ups throughout the house. But sometimes there's doors that are sticking, things are not lined up, whatever it might be. And so you're just doing traditionally a blue tape walkthrough where we knock out all the stuff that's just not completed or has been dinged up or something like that. Warranties. So there's another section that's not in the normal OREC contract. So the seller warranties the workmanship and the materials on the house. Typically every contract is going to come with an actual builder warranty agreement that outlines everything that's covered and what to do in the event of any material or workmanship defects. But this just basically says if the seller offers an additional warranty, the seller has 5 days to do the work prior to closing. And then notice of defect, this just defaults to 12 months. So notice the defects, basically the buyer has 12 months. Most builder warranties are going to be a 12-month warranty of workmanship and materials. So after 12 months, you just kind of own the house now. A lot of builders, what they'll do is do an initial, like first 30 days walkthrough with you. and then they'll do like a month 11 walkthrough with you. They don't want to come out 3 times a month to fix stuff. They'll just say, call us, maybe at the end of month 1 when you identify stuff, let us know. Maybe call us month 6 and then call us month 11. But I don't want to come out 3 times a week to fix doors or something, right? That's not what they're trying to do. So they'll fix it, but they normally do it within the first year. Again, almost every builder that offers a warranty, which is every builder, has their own agreement that you sign. It's separate from the contract that outlines everything, what to do, who to call, what's covered, all that kind of stuff. And it's good to explain this to buyers that this is made out of wood and sheetrock and paint. It's going to settle. Nothing's perfect. Things are going to crack. Things are going to settle. Things are going to move. It's a new construction house. It's literally settling. It's a new home, and so things are going to crack. Fine, we're going to have a builder come out and touch them up. As long as things aren't cracking, I've always heard more than 1/8 of an inch in any kind of sheetrock crack. It's just settlement in a new home. Shouldn't happen a lot, but if it does, if you can't put like a quarter in it, it's not a problem. We'll just patch it and paint it again because it's just settling. But read the builder warranty, have a long conversation with the builder, understand the warranty and what's happening with it. So volume builder contracts. Andrew was talking to me about, who was it? It's a builder that probably does 100 homes a year. Not a huge builder, but a big builder. Almost every builder has their own contracts. Unless you're doing like 10 a year, you just let the realtor write a contract. If you're doing more than like 25 a year or so, you probably have your own contract. Most builder contracts are not terribly friendly to the buyer. They are friendly to the builder. They give timeline grace to the builder. They give price variance grace to the builder. They charge you extra for change orders and all kinds of stuff like that. So read them, but most times it is what it is. You want the house or you don't want the house. Most of them aren't just going to outright rob you and say like earnest money is hard right away and you'll never get earnest money back and non-refundable. Most of them aren't going to say stuff like that. But I know a couple of builders in Oklahoma City got sued through COVID because of their contracts were egregious. They wouldn't put completion dates. They wouldn't agree on final prices. It was just wild stuff. It's like it was such a frenzy.
Cancel them to resell them for
Yeah. They would buy them back. They'd say, "I'll give you $5,000 to bust this contract," and then resell it for $20,000 more. So it was a frenzy. Materials were hard to come by. Buyers were prevalent. And builders knew they could get away with anything and sell the house again. It was a weird time. So builder contracts are not terribly friendly to the buyer. They're fine, read them, make sure you understand them, ask questions about them. But most volume builders are not going to change a lot of their terms and their agreements. They're just not going to. You can try, you can ask. The other thing is this happens a lot with our Lennar listings. I'll have realtors just email me a offer. And it's just like, did you not talk to anybody? Like no one, I know they talk to multiple people through this process because the sales pros call them all anytime they come through. But don't just write an offer up and send it. Call them. Almost every builder has their own contract, and especially if they have a sales pro. If they're big enough to have a sales manager or a sales pro or anything, they've got their own contracts. Call them, say we want to write an offer, what's the process, and they'll walk you through that. They'll normally write it for you and send it to you to sign. So just know they're going to be probably weird. They're not going to be OREC contracts. They're going to be written by the builder's attorneys, and they're going to be favorable to the builder. Questions on the builder? Any weird? I'm sure we've all had.
Super important to read them because I remember back in my TC days, we had an agent lose out on her commission because of some verbiage in the contract.
What was the?
Years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, to highlight that, make sure you know your builders, because
Yeah.
you can have a sales rep that says you're gonna get paid. And
Yeah.
you get sent up to corporate and get denied.
Yeah.
LGI will do that to you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's
They're.
still important to send those cooperative agreements,
Yeah.
even though it's a builder contract. and
Yeah.
Get a signature. And some builders refuse to sign certain paperwork, but
Right.
Don't let them look at new construction on Zillow. They won't pay if they have to.
If they come through Zillow, yeah.
Yeah.
They pick and choose what the rules are, a lot of builders. If they come first through Zillow, but then you get a BBA or whatever after, they pick and choose who and how they want to pay. A lot of builders nowadays, right?
it's different.
It's different now because the market's not smoking hot and there's not a million people trying to buy houses all the time and they can't build them. They're selling faster than they can build them. Now they're going to work with you a little bit more. 2020, 2021, 2022, it was, what are you going to do about it? And so it's different. But yeah, have those conversations, explain. Most of the bigger builders too actually don't pay commissions, they pay referrals. I think like DR, Lennar, I think Tabor does too. They have it worded in their contract where we're just gonna give you a 3% referral for sending us this client. And then you don't.
Minus concession.
Yeah, and it's off the base price, which base price is price minus whatever we're giving them. And Roush Coleman for a while had base prices, and then they would add fans or whatever, so the base price was $200. House sold for $220, but you're only getting $220 or $200 because that's the base price of the floor plan. And it's like, what the hell is this? People call all the time, like, or call the title like the number's wrong. Like, no, read the contract, number's right. Very frustrating. So yes, read the contracts, understand what they're paying you. So yeah, very important. Okay, the contract to close process. So a couple of different things, depending on the builder type, the builder and all kinds of stuff. Selections and change orders are stuff in a new construction that you don't get in an existing home. Sometimes sellers will change their mind on a finish, on a light fixture, or on a flooring, or a paint color, or a wallpaper on a room, or something like that. Depending on the builder, they will allow the buyer to change things. Normally there's what's called change orders, which means I'm going to charge you. A lot of times they charge you for making this change because it's disruption to the process. Normally if you're working with a custom builder, or if you're semi-customing out a house that's already started, you'll sit down and do a design meeting, and you'll pick they'll give you like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 granites or whatever it might be, and you get to pick any of the ones in level 3, and maybe you want to upgrade to a level 4, whatever it might be. So normally if you're building with a semi-custom builder, they'll let you pick finishes, and they do all that before the contract is done. Because then once it's done, like, just let us build the house. Stay out of our way, you can walk through it, whatever, but let us build the house. So if you do want to change stuff, they're called change orders. A lot of times builders will charge you for them. There's a new builder that just came to town recently that charges you, you get 3 emails a month.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And on the 4th email, they charge you money to communicate with them. So it's
Don't bother us more than that.
do what?
I think like, don't bother us more than that.
Yeah. Any more than that, like, you're not letting us do our job. So pretty weird. I don't have anyone else do that. They're out of Tulsa, but so disruption in the building process is discouraged, right? You're allowed to walk through whatever, but the worst thing, the main reason people don't like to build custom houses and builders like to build specs is because they don't want the homeowner calling them at 6 p.m. on a Tuesday saying, hey, how come this light fixtures, you didn't do this, or there's no outlet here, and there's supposed to be an outlet here, and it's like, they just want to build houses and then sell them, right? And they don't want to deal, that's why most builders hate the customer service piece of a spec home, or of a custom home. So selections and change orders, understand how that works. Normally that's done before contract, and then you just kind of leave it alone. But if they want to change something, you're buying this house, so if you want to change it, let's change it. But it's going to probably cost money, it's going to cost time, and we might not close on time. They might charge us $1,000 or 10% of the change order, whatever it might be. So understand how those work. Inspections. Let me go back. So change orders and stuff like that. I've had clients that want a new construction, but they don't really know which builder, they don't really know where yet. They know they want to be in this area or this district, and they're like, how do we start this process? My recommendation always is try to find a builder that you already like their style. Don't go find a builder that builds modern homes and ask them to build you a traditional home. Go find builders that you already like their style and then tweak their product. It's going to be way easier than you having someone who's never built what you want to build, the size or the price or the finish or the location or any of that, and then try to customize your stuff and think he's a builder, right? There's too many things are going to get dropped. Their subs aren't used to it. They're not used to it. It's just not going to get caught. So best advice I say is, rather than building a custom, because building a custom is a pain in the butt, go find a builder you already like that's already building stuff somewhere, and then either tweak their floor plans or tweak their finishes and just find something you like. I don't know how many people have built their forever home and moved 3 years later. Happens all the time. Building a house is a nightmare. Your own house, building a custom home is a nightmare. It's never right. You always do something you think you like, and then 2 years later you hate it. Always, every time. So it's best to just find a builder, because builders build floor plans over and over and over again. They know if there's something weird or not. Custom floor plans are weird 100% of the time. You always know when you walk into a custom house too. When you're showing a house, you walk in like, this was a custom. No builder would have built this. And that's why. So find a builder you like best and work with them. Don't try to create a design. It's rarely a good idea. It's also a full-time job for like 8 months, building a house. Inspections. Does anyone not get inspections on new construction houses? Who said that? Yeah. Do what?
I said, don't admit it.
Yeah. Tell me after. I explain the risk associated, just like anything else. Never tell your clients what to do, whether it be protective, conservative, or not. Never tell your clients what to do. That's how you get in trouble. Explain the risk associated with the decision, and that's how you influence the situation, right? So, our builder asks if we're going to get an inspection. Your buyer asks if we should get an inspection. You can. Everything's new, warranties, manufacturer warranties, builder warranties. However, this home was built by humans, and humans mess things up. So probably not a bad idea to get it, but you don't have to because everything's new and a lot of things, the major things are covered by warranty or manufacturer. So, what would you like? How would you like to proceed, right? And so I don't encourage people not to. If they're thinking about it, let them do it, or don't let them. But explain it's risky because it's built by humans. Things fail. Let them do it. If they don't care, I explain the risk, but I'm not going to make someone get one. It's their money, as long as I explain what's happening. But again, it's probably not a bad idea. For me buying a home, I probably would, just because if I'm going to live here for 5-10 years, and this is $350, it's money well spent normally.
So you tell them that if they ask you?
What would you do? Yeah, I would say I would. Yeah. Lennar home didn't want an inspection, so he's not going to be living in it. It's going to be a rental. So it's like, yeah, it passed inspections. It's got builder and manufacturer warranties. The major things that tenant's going to care about are going to be covered. 99.9% of the time, right? You can't factor in 100%. But I just explained, if something isn't right, once we buy this house, workmanship might cover some of it, should cover most of it, material and workmanship warranties. But once you buy it, you own it. Now you have to fight with them to get stuff done. Yeah, it's yours. So, but yeah, if it were me, if I'm buying a home and I'm going to live in it, yeah, I'm going to get it inspected. It's just just like title insurance. 99.9999999% chance I'm never going to need this title insurance, but it's $800. I'm buying a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 house. Buy it. Just buy it. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, in my opinion.
Also, I would highly encourage, because I've seen it happen so many times, it's happened to my clients or their agents, on new construction, if your clients are wanting inspections, I would advise them that it is wise to get their lines scoped. Because
Just construction.
contractors
Yeah, they dump
are
stuff.
human,
Yeah.
and they dump paint down the toilet.
Yeah.
There's drywall debris.
Yeah.
There's rags shoved in the sewer line. So your
Yeah.
client moves into the home, flushes the toilet. Now their
It
house
backs
is
up.
flooded.
Yeah.
So get line scoped on new
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah.
It's worth it every time. Almost more times than not, the inspector comes.
Yeah. We tell tenants that when we remodel houses too. There's construction debris that gets into the toilet, gets stuck in the P-trap, it's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, scoping lines. And new construction, they've got multiple clean outs. It's super easy to shoot stuff down there and look at it. Inspecting the home is going to do a water test. They're going to run water throughout the house and all kinds of stuff. So again, for me buying a home, I would say yeah, do it, but it's your money and here's the risk associated with it if we decide not to.
Emphasize that. I had a client that wanted to pass on his inspection. I said, okay, but you do in the drain.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna do the drain still. Yeah. And hopefully, if something backs up, you might ruin your stuff, but they're gonna fix it. It's under warranty, but it's gonna ruin your stuff. And we could have caught that for $350.
When do they come to fix it?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah, it could be a week or two or
It could
three.
be a
Yeah.
while, so it's just better to know it all up.
Yeah. Not on the most. Again, everything is a measure of risk, right? It's a spectrum of risk, and so getting everything inspected. But a lot of builders aren't going to do anything beyond code.
Right.
And so they might not gutter the whole house. They're just going to gutter over the HVAC system and over the doors or whatever. It's like I'm not going to do anymore. Even though home inspectors are going to say you really need to gutter this whole house. No, I'm going to only gutter code. So there's certain things that builders just won't do. They're going to follow code, and that's it. Everything beyond that is aesthetic or a cosmetic upgrade. You want gutters around it, you're going to pay for gutters. I'll do it, but it's a change order. So again, explain the risk. I don't like to tell my clients to do or not to do anything. I want to make sure they understand the consequence of each decision, if that makes sense. And obviously, if I believe one way or another, I can influence that consequence to be worse or better, but I try as a general rule not to tell them to do anything. Punch list, again, we kind of talked about this, blue tape walkthrough normally. Almost every builder is going to let you walk through it, identify. A lot of them do home orientations. They'll show you where all the water shutoffs are, the gas shutoffs, the sewer cleanouts, the electrical panel. They'll show you they'll give you an orientation of the home, then they'll do a walkthrough with you. Then they'll go through and you can revisit once everything's done, do a final walkthrough. Most of them do a final clean and all that stuff as well. So, typically the punch list, within the week of closing, again, like with a Lennar or a DR or whatever, they're just hawking houses, right? So if that house is done on a Tuesday, they want to close on a Wednesday. And so it's like, well, hold on, let's walk through it. I don't even know if, title can't even get us in on Wednesday, so let's slow it down some. But make sure you do a walkthrough on the house, everything's completed. And so again, sometimes we walk through it and there's been equipment in the garage and like the guys will get it out, today, but we're closing today. So it's like, well, will they get it out today? Or am I gonna have to come let them back in? Let's just slow it down, make sure all the stuff's done properly. And then warranties, understand the warranty paperwork, how it works, how it's covered, again, most builders during their walkthrough, if they're a volume builder, they've normally got a pretty ironed out process for their warranties. They've got a separate warranty department normally that works all their stuff. And so understand how that works, understand what's warranty worthy, what's not, what's urgent, what's not. If your heater goes out in the winter, that's an emergency. They're going to tell you to call someone else. If there's a plumbing leak, that's an emergency. They're going to tell you to call someone else. So there's just different nuances to the warranties. It's not just like, just call the sales pro. And I'm sure like the Lennar and the DRs and the Home Creations and those builders that have sales pros in the community for like years, they'll be in this community selling here. I'm sure they get blown up all the time when anything goes wrong with a house. And so just explain, understand what the process is for warranty calls, what's urgent, what's not. Again, most of them do a pretty good job because they want to mitigate all the ridiculous phone calls throughout the year. So they'll tell you, here's how we do our warranties. We'll come, again, most of them do month 1 and month 11, a final walkthrough with you to make sure everything's done. Because on month 12, I'm not answering your phone anymore. So make sure they understand how that works too. So that's all that I had, guys. Any questions on new construction, prospecting, selling, contract, anything at all?
You touched
Did it all?
Awesome stuff. I think having access to this is going to everyone needs to go back and reread it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good juice.
The number one thing, if you can be consistent with your open houses on new construction, I made a lot of sales in my first year just being around, just being there, knowing nothing about new construction or sales yet because I was new. Just being there, I made sales. I got listings, I sold houses, I met clients, all kinds of stuff. The better I got, it became easier, but just being there, people, again, we're kind of talking about, Elmer and I were talking about Parkway Square. They've sold like 22 houses in the last 3 weeks. People are buying these houses with or without a realtor. And if you're there, you capture it. And it's just a numbers game. If I'm out there for 52 weeks in a row, you're selling 10, 15 houses, I promise. You can't not do that. If you're at Copper Creek and you're selling 10, 15 houses,
Making some money.
you're making 70, 80, 100, I don't know, especially new construction, they're all 300 plus, like we're doing well, like no, we're happy, right? So consistency is name of the game. You can't do anything if you're just doing it once. So if you want to do new construction, it's not as competitive as a lot of other areas. You just got to find somewhere to sit. If you don't like Lennar's homes or price points, whatever, go sit somewhere else. We got a ton of new construction throughout the whole city. A lot of opportunity. So find somewhere that you can sit and be consistent with in the area that you already know, an area you want to work in. If you live in Norman, don't sit open houses in Edmond, right? Sit where you want to work with buyers you want to work with and price points as you want to sell, and that's how you build a pipeline in a business.